Hey, what's up, everybody? I just finished 500 miles on the Metroboard X, and I wanted to do a full review for anyone who wants to learn more about the X. A lot of my friends have been asking what I think, and I've been holding out to make this video until after I got some miles on it. For what it's worth, for those who don't know me, I've been e-skating since about March of 2015. My first electric skateboard was a Metroboard. A year later, I bought an Evolve Gen 2 Carbon, and I bought one of the first Evolve Carbon GTs to arrive in the United States. Since I started tracking my miles in 2016 using Sports Tracker, I've skated over 8,000 miles, mostly on Evolve boards. Now, if you're relatively new to the electric skateboard scene, I feel obligated to explain that Metroboard has been around longer than just about any other e-skate company. Like, there's not even any doubt that Metroboard is one of the original e-skate brands with a solid reputation for build quality, durability, and customer service. If you're already familiar with Metroboard, then it should come as no surprise that the Metroboard X is a top-of-the-line board. And I'm not just saying that. The quality and finish is like nothing I've ever seen. And I mean, each one is handmade in the USA using premium parts, and it's just built like a tank, just like it's always been. You know, honestly, the second I heard that the Metroboard X was finally out, I knew I had to get one. I know that Metroboard has been working on a board like this for years. I met Elon way back in August of 2016, and we talked about his plans then for an all-terrain board. That was 3 years ago, so clearly this was no small undertaking. All right, pre-ramble over. Here are 10 things that I love about this board. Number one, double bushing trucks. Metroboard has designed their own double bushing precision CNC machined aluminum trucks and hanger design for the Metroboard X. This double kingpin design makes the Metroboard X incredibly nimble and really fun to carve, as you might expect. It took me a few rides to get the trucks dialed in just right. If you buy one of these boards, or really any board for that matter, you're going to want to take your time to tune the trucks before you go top speed. I did experience speed wobbles the first couple of times out. My advice to anyone is just take your first few times easy, bring a skate tool with you so you can make adjustments while you ride. This is a really powerful board, and it's really fun to go fast, but don't go trying to break any land speed records until you got your trucks dialed in. That's all I'm saying. PSA over. It's amazing. It's an amazing board, but make sure you got it dialed in before you go too fast. The bushings that came with the Metroboard X are 95A, which might be a little bit too firm for me. I will be trying some other bushings soon, but I wanted to do my first 500 miles on stock bushings. Overall, I'd say this setup carves extremely well, and everyone who's given it a try so far agrees. If you're under 170 pounds, you might want to try softer bushings, but that's up to each rider's preference. Number two is the integrated lighting. Metroboard has had integrated lighting for years on their skateboards, so it isn't surprising that this feature made it into the X. What is surprising is how damn bright and amazing these lights look. It's a bit overwhelming, but as a safety feature, I'm really all about this, and the lights are brighter than shred lights. So considering that a set of shred lights, a complete set, is about $100, this is a pretty good added value. And the fact that these are built in and controlled with the press of a button on your remote is a pretty killer feature. Number three, wheels. The Metroboard X comes standard with ABEC 11 74A 107mm wheels. Pretty much everybody agrees that these are phenomenal e-skate wheels. When you try the 107s, it's hard to go back to anything else. So that's something to consider when budgeting your board. What kind of street wheels come with it? And are you going to have to shell out $160 more for the 107s? I also have the 190mm all-terrain wheels. I mean, I'll probably always prefer to ride street wheels, but it's nice to have the option to convert over to all-terrain wheels, especially when you're going into unfamiliar territory. But I do 98% of my riding on street wheels. When I first got the Metroboard X, before I even rode it, the first thing I did was swap to street wheels, which brings me to number four, automatic belt tensioning. This is where the Metroboard's genius really starts to become apparent. The automatic belt tensioning system uses a set of springs to keep the belt properly tensioned before you lock down your motors. The springs don't actually do anything the rest of the time, which is a little weird. And you may be asking yourself, why would I even need such a thing? But, if you're used to doing wheel swaps on the Evolve, then you know it can be a pain to get the belt tension balanced just right so that both motors are in sync. And that's annoying. The great thing about the automatic belt tensioning system is that it takes the guesswork out of proper belt tension. Number 5, all right, let's talk about this deck. I mean, it's beautiful. The angles and contours are all there to give you places to lock your feet into. It's super comfortable. There's plenty of room on this deck for your feet to move around. That's critical for avoiding numb feet on long rides, especially if you ride street and you prefer the stiffness of a carbon fiber deck for stability at high speeds. Once I set foot on the Metroboard X, I felt instantly at ease. I'm able to widen my stance, which helps me move and carve with more comfort and precision. And these angles on the drop deck are brilliantly placed foot stops. Number 6, the remote control. This was my first board with the thumb wheel style remote, and I love it. I really, really like this remote. A lot of people swear by the thumb wheel style remote, people who ride boosted. I've always been doubtful myself, but I figured, what the heck. And I like the idea of having a small remote that fits in my pocket. I was worried when I first got on the board that I'd launch myself or kill myself trying to brake. But honestly, here's another point where the Metroboard really nailed it. The acceleration and braking curve with this remote is perfect. And I really like being able to yo-yo. Being able to make a 3-point turn at an intersection or crosswalk comes in handy sometimes. But I really, really like the response curve of this remote. It's just perfect. You can change it in the app, but I haven't messed with any of that stuff. Straight out of the box, the acceleration and braking was perfect in my book. No BS. I've never ridden anything like it. It's perfectly dialed in. So you won't buck yourself off by hitting the accelerator too hard or mashing the brake. It is incredibly powerful, but it's kind of gentle. Takeoff is graceful, followed by a kick in the pants at around 10 or 12 miles an hour. If you wanted more aggressive acceleration and braking, you can certainly change that through the app, but as far as I'm concerned, it's perfect the way it is. Number 7, battery and range. I tend to ride fast, and one of the reasons why I like street wheels is because I like to go for longer than you can with AT. So my average speed is typically about 18 or 19 miles per hour over the entire trip. And there are plenty of hills in my area, including some really steep ones. On my Evolve Carbon GT, my typical route is about 13 miles. That's just at the point where the battery sag starts kicking me into eco. So when I take my usual 13-mile loop on the X, I still have 65% battery left over. So yeah, that's the Metroboard X has doubled my range. I did ride the Metroboard X once as far as it would go, and according to Sports Tracker, that was 25.52 miles with an average speed of 17.8 miles per hour with a max speed of 32.9 miles per hour. Power and performance. As far as power goes, the 6374s have yet to meet a hill they didn't laugh at. These are beefier motors that I could see being really beneficial to heavier riders or anybody who just wants balls out power on tap. Now, I did get my Metroboard X with the 130 kilovolt 6374s, which are wound a bit tighter and have a top speed of, on paper, of 31 miles per hour. In my test, I had it up to full speed a few times, but even after 500 miles, I just don't feel like going that fast all that often. Instead, I prefer to ride with about 20% left over, in case I need to go faster. Number 9, top-mounted battery readout and charge port. The top-mounted onboard battery display is a super handy feature. Having it situated in the rear makes it a little awkward to check when you're riding, but to tell you the truth, it would be a little weird on the front. And besides, with this kind of range, I don't find myself thinking about the battery really at all. As long as I keep my route to under 25 miles, I know I'm golden, so there's not that much reason to ever even look at it. And having the charging port accessible from the top also makes things super easy. I just roll up into my garage and plug in. Number 10, looks. I'll be honest, I was not a fan of the Metroboard X grip. It just wasn't my style. I added the red grip tape and the red anodized vinyl to the motors, and everywhere I go, the Metroboard X turns heads. All right, let's be fair. Here are 5 things to pick on. Number 1, the grip. I've said it before, the grip tape design seems like a poor choice. After my first ride, the grip was already starting to peel, but that just gave me the perfect excuse to make it my own. Number 2 is the weight. This is a long haul board. This is not going to be your go-to board for a quick ride to the grocery store. At 30 pounds, you're not going to want to carry this board for long. Thankfully, it's got a handle, which sadly brings me to number 3. The handle that comes with the X tends to flop around when you ride. I wasn't really able to figure out how to get it to stop, and it was scuffing my motors, so I took it off. Number 4, sound dampening. The Metroboard X actually has plenty of room on the inside, surprisingly. I mean, it even looks like there's plenty of room for more battery in there. But the underside of the lid doesn't have any sound dampening, any foam or insulation, so the board kind of sounds hollow, which it is. So there's kind of this rumbly sound that could easily be dampened with some kind of neoprene or rubber insulation, which I think I'll be adding in the near future. Number 5, bearings. The Metroboard X has a 10 millimeter axle designed to withstand extreme punishment. Most skate bearings have an 8 millimeter bore hole diameter, so your favorite bearings may not work on the X. Bottom line is this is a phenomenal board with more power and range than most skateboards on the market. It's a carving dream machine and a sturdy, reliable board made with serious care and attention to detail. I am extremely happy with it. I can get a solid 25 miles of riding, averaging 18-19 miles per hour on my favorite trails. It's got serious power to scream up hills. The board is bigger, so it feels like driving a muscle car as opposed to a zippy little sports car. But the handling is superb. The acceleration and braking is absolutely perfect in my book, and it's got looks to kill. So that's my video review for the Metroboard X. Thanks for checking out my video. I don't usually do reviews, but who knows what the future holds. If you like my video, please do give it a like and feel free to share. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them in the comments. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.